Hello? It's fine. Okay. So, good evening, everybody. This is Venkateshwar and Swagat joining you for this PI basic session conducted by Indian Institute of Management, RAIPUR. So, what we have in agenda today is we have some series of questions prepared, which is being given to us. We'll just guide you on how to answer these questions, and moreover, we also try to provide some framework on how you can go about the questions. Okay, let's go
So,
on to
anyways, first of all, we'd like to begin by congratulating you all for making it this far. And I guess you just have one step more to pass and then join the institute of your choice. So, we'll go about the questions. I think you all would be having the PPT. It would have been shared by with you, and we'll go. Has it been shared? Okay, we'll share the PPTs. Anyways, before answering the questions, we'll just tell you as to which question we are answering, so that you are very clear about it. So, let's start.
So the first question is, tell me something about yourself. So this is one of the basic question that you always face in an interview. Uh, when this question is thrown at us, so what we basically try to do is explain our complete portfolio, like what we did and what we are going to do. So we follow some order called chronological order. This can be a reverse chronological order or a starting from the time that you have from the school to your work experience, or from like backward, like from your work experience to school. So this can be stated like you can first tell about where did you work, or if you're a fresher you can talk about where did you do your college. You can also introduce yourself. So that comes, and what is your specialization in school, your physics maths if you're a fresher, or people with work experience can talk about their graduate course. So this is also a portion where you have to explain your interest to show that you are specific or particularly interested about a particular domain or something. So this explain more about your passion, just rather than explaining yourself and your academic your achievements. Rather than that, you can explain about your passion here and add a personal touch to it. Swagat, you want to say something?
Yeah. Actually, this is like an icebreaker question. This question will definitely be asked in almost every interview. So, what does the interview exactly expect from you? Is telling him something that probably has not been mentioned in the application form, right? Giving him something. Probably you can use this question to steer your interview. You can actually throw some tidbits at him, through which he can actually guide the interview and ask you specific questions that you will be comfortable with. So you can actually use this question to steer the interview. And obviously, your background is a must. Apart from that, the skills that you have gained during your life, or specifically your work ex or your graduation as such. So mostly you will be expected to answer on these lines. And again, something about your passion as to, and how exactly do you see yourself in the future? How exactly your future goals are? That is what is expected in this question.
As Swagat said, these questions can help you steer the interview, which is very important. You can use this question to get yourself in the comfortable spot that you want to be in an interview. All the next question might be, at least for me, 90% of the questions are are asked in a thing that which I tell about myself. So it's a good steering question, I would say. The next question, tell me something about yourself which is not written in the form. So this is a particular question where you talk more about what you have not mentioned here, because what you have mentioned here would be your academic background, basically your percentage and your numbers. These numbers will do the talking for yourself, but what do you do outside of the numbers? Who are you? Who are you just outside this form that you have filled? So this is where you tell about your personal interest, something that you are doing apart from the academic background, something you didn't mention in the form.
Yes, definitely. This again, like I mentioned earlier, you will be expected to answer something based on which the interview can actually take the interview forward. Okay, he will ask you questions based on this answer. Mostly, this is the reason why interviews ask this question. So, what is expected from you is probably maybe something related to your hobby, something that you have done, activity, some roles, positions of responsibility that you have held, and how you went about doing it, something of this sort, so that you can actually take it forward.
One more thing about these two questions, as I already said, the framework that we should use here is a chronological order. That means that I'm restressing it because this will make you give you a structured answer, which is very important in an interview. The interviewer will surely assess your structured thought process or how you're processing it. So it is always good to go with a structured answer, saying that in 2015 I did this thing, in 2014 I did that thing, and go on going on down about it. Or otherwise you can start from the beginning. So this is what it, this is what happened later. So that is one way of doing it. Another thing you these questions is you can talk about your family also, but try to keep it little professional rather than getting into personal nuances of it.
Yes. Try to speak more about yourself than anything else. That is what is the gist of what Venki said.
Exactly.
Next, we can move.
Yeah.
The next question is why MBA? Okay, so most of you can actually justify it based on your current work ex, or you can actually justify this question based on your passions as to how you see yourself down the line, 5 years, 10 years down the line. You can justify it based on that. It entirely depends upon your past as to whether you have work ex or, like I said, a fresher. So probably relating your past with how you see yourself in the future would be an ideal way to answer this question. That is how you should go about it. That I have done all this in past. I feel that probably these skills make me suitable for a specific position or a specific position in a definite organization that I'm willing to join. So that kind of an answer would probably be suitable for this kind of question. Aligning your past with your present, with your future role, future aims and ambitions. That is how you should go about answering this question.
One body language that I would recommend when you're answering this why MBA question is do not be blank when this question is thrown at you. Be surely prepared about this question because it is I would say it is more than a 200% question that would come in an interview.
This question will definitely be asked.
So don't throw at them some random experiences that you felt doing an MBA. That's why you do an MBA. Just try getting some ground knowledge of about what you did and why that should make you do an MBA.
Exactly.
That fitment that you create by the answer is very important because this is it's a very generic question and there is no right or wrong answer. It is about how much you create a fitment between your past experience and what you want to see yourself in the future and how MBA helps you in achieving that. So that is the thing you can.
Whenever you're actually mentioning some skills or some past experience, definitely your strength or something, always try to give it or give an example justifying that particular skill, okay? Because the interview will just not take that skill like that. You have to justify where you applied that skill, how you are using it, and how you're going to apply it in the future. The interviewer has to realize that this guy has done this, he has this particular skill, he has to realize that. Just bluntly giving out an answer like, I am a good leader, I am a good team player would not help. You were a good leader and where you applied it in the past. So you have to justify it using examples. That is a very crucial aspect of any answer that you give during the interview. Now, yes. Moving on to the next question, like, you want to say anything else?
No.
Why MBA as a fresher? Okay, so this question will obviously be asked to the freshers. Now, how you need to justify this answer is obviously you have to relate it to what are activities you have done during your academics or what all passions you have. There are people whom I know that have done a lot of marketing activities, done a lot of budgeting things. So you can actually justify it using that, your past experiences or past events. Or you can use it like, suppose you have held certain positions of responsibilities. So you can justify using those things, that specific positions, what all you did and how you thought that in that particular responsibility, in that particular position. That is what is expected from you in this question.
Another important thing to talk about this question is, see, this question holds more weight for the fresher than a work because see, a person who has work experience can obviously create some fitment that why he's doing an MBA and all the stuff. But for a fresher, it is a little bit difficult to create a fitment, but that is where your personal skill comes into picture. Personally, I have seen a lot of people here doing a great job as a fresher creating this fitment. For example, they talk about their responsibilities that was taken in their undergraduate. That is one main thing, and this is important for a fresher because he should be. It projects him in a position that he is ready to do an MBA.
Yes.
Because that what is his opinion about an MBA? Because a guy with work experience can say that he wants to increase his employability in the organization. That's why he wants to do an MBA. But as a fresher, what may drives you to do an MBA is a important thing that you have to talk about here. Moving on to the
Another
next. Oh, yeah,
just
sorry.
to add
Yeah.
to Vinky, another aspect that you can actually add to this is you can everyone who's joining this degree will have certain aims and ambitions for your future, right? You can actually align them. Like a person, a budding entrepreneur can actually justify it, saying that this degree will go a long way in probably shaping my plans for that specific career aspect. So you can justify it using that, but it's a risky thing. You have to be very structured. If you are telling that you're an entrepreneur, then you have to have the plans and everything related to it ready, because probably you are steering that interview in a particular direction. Then the interview will ask you counter questions as to what exactly is your idea. So be very well prepared if you are trying to answer this question based on your future aspirations. Okay, so because there will be counter questions, be prepared for that. But yes, if it works great.
Yes, let's. I think I hope that was clear, and let's move to the third question, which says, "Why MBA after engineering, life sciences, or commerce?" This is a good question, but I would suggest, see, there are three specializations given: engineering, life sciences, and commerce. I am qualified to talk about engineering and life sciences, but commerce, yes, I will get back to that. But let's say engineering. See, the main common thing about these three courses is they are undergraduate courses, and MBA is a postgraduate course where which these things, these concepts that you develop in this undergraduate course, how these concepts are going, that you are going to see these concepts after doing an MBA, which is very important. That is what you have to explain. Doing an engineering, you will be working directly with technology or any specialization that you are doing. So how an MBA, a decision-making course is what an MBA, how that is going to affect your technical knowledge that you are going to have. How you are going to see everything in the perspective of an MBA after doing an engineering, which is very important. So that is how you are going to approach this question, saying like, what are the decision-making aspects that you're going to learn in an MBA after learning the technical aspects of it. So how it is going to make you a holistic manager. Life sciences, Bhagat, you want to take?
No. What I will say is, let's actually try to answer this question based on the after degree aspects. Okay, once you are done with the engineering or life sciences commerce degree, you'll most probably get into an industry or a job wherein you'll be required to apply your engineering or life sciences knowledge. Basically, it will be a role like wherein it will involve technical details of the field that you have specialized in. Now, how MBA will help after these degrees is probably because it will take you a notch higher. It will make you a decision maker essentially. When you join as a graduate engineer trainee or anything related to life sciences possibly, then you will be working under a person. You'll be reporting to a manager. But after doing an MBA degree, there is every possibility that you will join in that specific reporting role. So you will be required to take decisions and not necessarily implement those decisions. Okay. So the engineering people mostly, I'm mostly generalizing it, but this is the task that most of the GETs do, graduate engineering trainees do after in their job. So they are mostly required to implement the multiple decisions that have been taken in the higher levels of the organization. And but mostly MBA will take you on a quicker growth progress probably in the organization, and that is why most of the people prefer to do MBA immediately after engineering, so that they get a holistic view of the organization, how it functions, how the multiple verticals function, and how they are able to implement their engineering or life science or commerce skills in that regard. That is why MBA is very essential.
Okay.
Now, next question is, which specialization are you planning to take? Okay, this question this is again a very mandatory question. It will be asked to most of you people. So there are two ways to actually answer this question. You can actually answer by saying that you have not planned any specialization as of such. You can directly say that I want to explore the multiple verticals of an organization by exploring the basics, because most of these institutes, what they do is they'll give you basics about all the verticals, about all the domains before you go into the second year and choose a specialization. So it is a safe bet to actually go and answer that yes, I have not chosen any specialization. But yes, there are people who have had prior work ex or who have had prior experiences, like people who have written cases on marketing. I know people who are from BTech background and they have written marketing case, or they have written research papers on marketing. I don't know people like that. So you can justify that you want to go into this marketing aspects, marketing specialization by using those examples, by highlighting those. So if you are answering that you want to go get into a specialization like marketing or finance, you have to justify it saying that you're probably passionate about it and how you're passionate about it, what all you have done, the certifications you have done, or the competitions you have participated in, or the research you have done. Probably your work ex can also contribute in this. So these are the things that you can actually go on speaking. But yes, there will be lots of people who would not be having ideas about all the specializations, and probably answering that I have not taken any specialization is not something that will go against you in the interview. So you can answer this.
Yes, adding to what Swagat had said, it is always good to know about a particular specialization. It may not be that it is nothing mandatory that you are going to take that specialization only because you might not have decided that early in the, this year. So what I would suggest is decide on a particular specialization, let's say marketing or let's say finance or any strategy or an HR that you're going to specialize. Just go through it, go through what it is, just get the definitions clear, understand, see some videos on YouTube, which I will highly recommend, because that will give you a clear idea of what will be that specialization. And if you talk about that specialization, it will give an impression to the interviewer that you have done, yes, you have done some research work, and you have taken some pain to know about what you're actually going to do. So let's move on to the next question. Do you think MBA is necessary for success in the corporate world? The answer is no. Why I would say this is because can quote you literally millions of examples where people have succeeded in the corporate world without an MBA. But why do you think it is necessary? Because I personally believe that MBA is very necessary for the success in the corporate world. This is because MBA, I would say, what according to me is a structured framework where it will give you a lot of tools. MBA is like a amalgamation of tools which give you how to approach a particular decision-making process in the corporate world. What differentiates you and a non-MBA is you will be armed with these tools. You will be already knowing these situations and how to respond to it. MBA will primarily give you these tools which will tell you this is the situation and this is how you will respond. This will give you an a structured framework on where you can operate upon. Because I'm telling you, this is very necessary in a corporate world to achieve success. And I will also say this is what differentiates an IIM graduate and non-IIM graduate in a corporate world, because here what you learn is very much very in depth than other MBA courses or you can approach this question by saying that how will MBA guide you to be a better decision maker? So that is what it can differ from the person to person based on his academic background, on what he wants to see himself, and how MBA how does it help an entrepreneur, how it is going to help a marketing manager, how it is going to help a financial analyst. All these questions are MBA does have an answer and doesn't have a framework to give you an answer.
Anyone who wishes to join a corporate world, his ultimate aim would be to lead that organization or lead any particular vertical of it. That is what is the eventual aim of anyone joining the corporate sector. Now, when you are leading a particular team or when you're leading an organization, you have to have a vision, right? You have to have a vision, you have to take decisions. Now, to have that vision and decisions, you have to have certain perspectives about the multiple verticals functioning in an organization. Now, just having an experience related to a specific specialization, like as in the technological aspects, will not help. As you go forward, definitely you'll be expected to have a holistic view of the organization that you are working in, because you have to take every aspect into account before taking a decision. You have to do you have to consider the financial aspects. You have to consider how my sales and marketing team is going to function. So every decision that you take is going to impact the organization as a whole. So basically, MBA is very necessary in this dynamic world of today, because decision making currently is based taking into account every aspect. So for that holistic knowledge, MBA is essential. And another, like Venki said, for the structured thought process, you will be learning multiple frameworks. You will be learning how to take a decision quickly, what all information you need before taking a decision. So you cannot just do that through experience. You need to have a definite thought process. You have to have a different thought process compared to what you were when you were working in that particular scenario. So currently, like most of the industries that you see around, what happens is most of the people when they are going into leading roles, you see them that most of them are encouraged to be an executive MBA or PGP working of having PGPX or something degree, which actually encourages people with workings to go and do their MBAs. So why is it? Why are organizations encouraging these people who have already have had 10 to 15 years of work ex go and do their MBAs? It is because they need to have a holistic idea. That is, so this basically highlights how important MBA is if you are going to lead an organization.
Yes. Let's move on to the next question. Anything to add?
No.
No.
If not MBA, then what? Okay, what the interviewer possibly expects you to do after this is an answer like probably pursuing your passion. If you are a fresher, like you have certain passions, certain goals and ambitions. Suppose you tell him that I want to excel, I want to be a leader in whatever organization I want to. So possibly going ahead and joining the organization of your choice and ensuring that you play an integral part, ensuring that you be a good learner in that organization would be a decent answer. Another answer would be some people say that no, I'll go ahead and prepare for my the next year. That also is a good answer, but some interviewers tend to take it negatively, as if like suppose it shows that you are thinking on a short term basis, like possibly you're not able to think upon the risk that you are taking, you're associating yourself with. So if you're answering this question like no, I'll be waiting for another year, I'll prepare for it, you have to justify it. You have to show, you have to tell, you have to convince them that yes, you are dedicated enough, your preparation will be sufficient to guide you through the next year's process. That is what is expected from you.
Yes. Adding on to what Swagat had said, these questions are primarily psychographic questions.
Yes.
It is not about what exact answer you give to these questions. It is more about how, what you have planned for your life. If not MBA, then what? What the interviewer is basically assessing here is how much you have planned your life. What because they don't want to basically hire a goalless person. They want a person who is already structured about what he wants to achieve and what he is going to do about that. That is what you have to go about. Think when you're answering these questions, take into mind that interviewer is assessing you not on the factor about like what exactly you are providing the answer, because it is about how good you justify your answer with sufficient points. If not MBA, then what? What are the justification that you are giving, or what are the facts that your academic background or your work experience background supports your view or something like that. So that explains it basically. Let's go to next question. In this section, we'll be dealing about schooling under and post graduation. So, which was your favorite subject in 12th and why?
We will take these answers collectively. Most of these questions,
yeah.
most of you will not be asked a question like what was your favorite subject in 12th. Mostly you'll be asked as to what was your favorite subject in your undergraduate degree. Okay, and obviously you have to quote a subject. You have to specify a subject, and you will be asked details. There is a possibility that there will be one panel member who would be knowing the subject in depth. Okay, so expect a lot of questions in that, at least like 6 to 7 questions in that regard, and be well prepared. Have a very clear thought process. Have a very clear structured answer while you are answering this question. Generally, there is only one correct answer to these questions. You cannot be diplomatic in these answers. So you are expected to know. What my suggestion would be, if you don't know the answer, you can directly tell them that I do not know the answer instead of bluffing about it. But being your favorite subject, you are expected to know that specific answer. You will be expected. If you are not answering this question, then it will show that probably you have not evaluated your subjects properly.
This question will, the answer, what you say to this question will lead you to a trap question basically.
Yeah.
So when you are telling about your favorite subject, please ensure that you're telling actually your favorite subject and you have some basic ground knowledge on what you're talking about, which is very important. If you're going to tell that your favorite subject is something and you have no knowledge about it, the interviewer is not going to get a positive impression about it. Let's go to the next question. Why is your academic record bad? This is one of the very
Most dicey
difficult
questions. This is a very dicey question.
dicey question asked in the interview. Why is your academic record bad? Please, I would highly suggest don't talk about the Indian education system and how it is not rewarding you properly,
Yes.
or about how much you are distanced yourself from the system,
Yes.
like an outlaw.
Don't
Please
give any negative answers to this question.
Please don't do that.
Do not just criticize saying that my professors were biased towards a specific student. Don't give answers like this. You have to justify it saying that you were involved in some other activity. That is the reason probably you were not able to focus on academics. Now, what you have to do after this is you have to relate that particular activity which actually prevented you from doing well in academics. You have to relate that particular activity to your MBA degree, right? That is how you are going to impress your interviewer, because essentially the interviewer will expect you to give an answer like, I was involved in these extracurricular activities. I had more interest in these. I had more interest, possibly like an answer like on the lines of, I was more interested in organizing fests. I was more interested in organizing certain events. That would show your organization skills, your leadership skills to some extent. And then you could actually go on relating that, yes, since I work in these fields, possibly that is the reason I am looking forward to doing this degree, and I'm passionate about it. Since I'm passionate about it, I can definitely vouch for the fact that I'll do well in academics during my MBA degree because I'm passionate about it. That is how I can justify.
One main thing I would recommend is the academic record being bad. The main thing is you have cleared your cat cut off, and then only you're being called for an interview. This says that you are not actually bad in your academic record, but what the previous academic record holds. This means that you must have dedicated your sufficient amount of time to some other activity. Do have a necessary proof or any substantial evidence which supports that you have balanced your academic activity with some other thing. So this gives an idea that yes, I am also interested in what I was doing, and plus parallel to this, I was doing something for myself or something for the society which was very useful. So you might be doing an unproductive work, okay, but it is highly recommended not to disclose anything. Any negative points should not be added to this thing. Be very positive. Say something about what you did to the society in that time, or what you did to improve yourself in that time, because it means nothing. You just dedicated substantial amount of your time away from the academics to do something. Exactly. So just talk about that and maintain your calm when you're talking about it. Don't get I have seen people getting their bloods pumped up when they ask this academic record as bad question, because they don't have a substantial answer, because it was done that.
So people who feel that their academic records are not good should be prepared with this answer. And yes, like he said, giving a blunt answer like I was hanging around with friends will not help you. So give an answer wherein it clearly states that you have been involved in some productive activity and how that activity is going to help you in your aims and in pursuing your aims, final aims. That is what should be the answer. Now, moving on to the next question. Justify gaps between 12th and engineering or after engineering. Okay. Actually, an important question when you go for this MBA interviews is why do you take engineering? As such, lots of people actually ask you this question. So you can actually go on to say that for me, probably developing my analytical skills very important. This is a very cliched answer that most of the engineering people actually answer, but this is actually true. Lots of people have cut out a definite plan for themselves, and that is why they go about pursuing their degrees, because eventually it does help you in your analytical skills. People who have possibly done their engineering have better thought process, better analytical skills compared to everyone else. That is a fact. That does not mean that other people don't have, but yes, if you have done an engineering, probably your thought process would be more systematic. Now, justifying this gap, you have to say that possibly during the first year, you were not well prepared, or you were very passionate about pursuing this particular degree. You were very passionate about a particular subject, and you thought that making a future out of it would be good. That is what you thought at that particular point of time. But yes, there is every likelihood that it will be questioned that if you were passionate about that particular degree, about that particular subject, why not pursue a master's in that? That is a counter question that could be asked. So please be ready with these answers. You have to justify it. You have to say, you have to give a very well thought out answer to this question, and just giving out an answer like, no sir, I couldn't actually pass the first year, clear the exams during my first year because I was not well prepared. This will not help you. You have to tell them why you prepared and why you actually you stayed back for another year. Why you did that? You have to tell them that possibly your passion drove you to that. So you have to give an answer something on these lines. But yes, this is again a dicey question. But most of the interviews don't ask this. But even if they ask this, you have to say something on the lines of you have to relate it to passion and possibly relate it to why that particular subject figures in your eventual plan. Like possibly mechanical engineer. I'll just give you an example. He could say that I was interested in something like engineering mechanics. So I possibly figured out something that I could make a future out of this mechanical engineering of this subject, and would do good in it. But then how you figure during your MBA degree, during your BTech degree, while pursuing mechanical engineering would be, I thought that possibly my analysis of a definite situation was much better and much in depth compared to my peers. That is how you could justify it. Whenever a problem came to me, I always used to take it into account and justify all the possible causes and all the effects, and then find out the possible solutions. So this will show that your analysis is good, and you figured out that this subject was essentially taken because it would help you in the long run of essentially having better analytical skills and rest and applying these skills to your MBA profession. That is possibly how you can go about answering this question.
Yes, I think Swagat gave a comprehensive answer about it. I would just suggest add one more thing to it. What you can basically do is, again, this question can be answered with the perspective that you did something useful in that gap, which is very important. Not just preparing for just only CAT in the sense. If you are having a gap after engineering or between 12th and engineering, so what did you do productive in that 1 year? If a person had surely did some extra specialization or an extra outside course on that, you don't have to worry about it. This will actually be a value added thing. Instead of a negative question that is going to come at you, you can explain about what did you do productive at that point of time, which will give you which will give the interviewer a more positive perspective that you are not just only about going with the system, you also did something more than what is required. So this will be a very good point for people, and people who have actually did something in that 1 year or 2 years. Yeah, please don't worry about it, because you are going to actually add value to yourself. Let's go on to the next topic: activities and interests. What are your hobbies and interests? So these questions will be okay. What are your hobbies and interests? So these questions are generally to just get to calm you. Generally, interviews want to just assess you when you are a little bit calm. These questions are going to be thrown at your at the end, during the end of the interview,
Yes.
just to give an idea or just to extend the interview, saying that like what, just let's know more about him. What is he interested in? Just go particularly about it. Just please understand what is an hobby and what is an interest. Do Google it and get a difference about what it is, and come up with a specific answer saying what is your hobbies and interest. That's basically your answer. How you're going to give it? So what?
Just going about it, there can be three kinds of questions related to your hobbies and interests. It can be either what are your hobbies and interests, or it can be how do you spend your leisure time, or it can be like what are your hobbies and what do you learn from them. So all these questions basically have similar answers. Now, my suggestion to you would be, when you are actually giving out a hobby, please be very specific about it, because if it's going to be a stress interview, people will ask counter questions about your hobbies. Okay, so just giving out a blunt answer like I enjoy watching football will not help, because then again there is a possibility an interviewer will ask that who was the qualifying, who was the semi, which teams were the semi-finalists in 1966 World Cup. That is a possibility. They can ask very, very difficult questions, and answering them would become very dicey. So instead of giving very open-ended hobbies, try to be very specific. You could actually answer something like on the lines of I like listening to A.R. Rahman's music. Instead of just answering I like listening to music or I like listening to songs, I like reading a definite author's novels. You can say that different hobbies and hobby and interest. What I feel the difference is, hobby is something for which you take your time out, and interest is something that you want to do but have not been able to do, possibly because you have been involved, have been engaged in something else. So interest could be something like I want to learn different languages. I want to learn Bengali language. I want to learn Telugu language. This could be an interest, but hobby could be, like I said, reading. Uh, Arthur Conan Doyle's novels, or something on the lines of Sidney Sheldon novels, something of that sort. You can do that. So next important question is, what are your short-term and long-term goals? So what else? Oh. So what essentially the interviewer tries to evaluate in this question is how structured, how well structured you have made your eventual aim to be. Like short term, it can be anything. It can be like leading a team. You cannot just say that in 5 years time I will be going and leading an organization. You cannot just say that. You have to be practical. The answer has to be practical, and it has to be well structured. You have to say something like, I look forward to joining an organization based on my interest levels, and then possibly pursuing my passion there. That should be a short term goal. Probably joining organize. If I'm interested in marketing, if you say that you are interested in marketing, then you can say that I look forward to joining a specific organization who gives me a role in sales and marketing, or branding possibly. And then over long term goals could be something, anything. It could be like leading a particular vertical, or it could be leading the organization as such, wherein you will be required to differentiate your roles. Like people might counter question after this, that how exactly are they different? Like how are the roles different? You can say answer by telling them that possibly a team leader will just execute decisions taken by the higher levels of management. But when you are a leader of a different vertical, you need to have a vision. You need to have a different. You need to give a definite direction. You need to guide your organization. That is what is expected from you. You are not involved in implementing it. You just show the direction to that organization, and for that, you need to have this basic knowledge. So you have to justify it, both the short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah, adding to what Swagat said about this question, see, I would suggest some things like be very structured when you're answering this question, and also do take care of the point that how your short-term goals are going to lead to your long-term goals. If you're able to relate to this, how your short-term goals are going to lead to your long-term goals, that gives you a very structured answer, saying that that you have do certain things in a certain span of time, and as an end result, you will achieve that long-term goal. Let's move to the next question: strengths and weakness. So basically, what are your strengths, and can you substantiate do strengths or something? Do Google for some positive adjectives that you can use for yourself, use to qualify yourself, and just make try to create a fitment like which adjective is going to match you the perfect. Okay, and you should come up with a real life example. It can be necessarily anything. Even I myself used an interview of. In the interview, I just used this example of me performing as a team captain in my school. An example as simple as this can even be blown up into a proportion where it can qualify your basic character, and that can be your strength.
Yes.
So it can be anything. The example is how much you relate your whatever you say as a strength, how much you relate with that example. If you try to do that, I think this question will be a cakewalk.
Yes.
Alright.
So whenever you ask questions like strengths and weaknesses, I give you a suggestion, like before going for your interviews, please do try to spend some time introspecting as to what exactly are your strengths, where exactly are your strengths, what all you have done in your past, how you are going to justify that. Try to find a definite strength that actually you can relate to. Don't just make up something during the interview, because it will be difficult justifying that. So you have to spend a lot of time introspecting as to what you have done in the past and then justifying it. Possibly something on the lines of good leadership skills, good adaptability skills. These are the answers that interviewers expect. But more than these answers, what they look at is how you justify them, substantiate them using examples. So be very, very structured during this answer. Give them example, tell them that yes, I feel that I am very, very adaptable. I feel that I have good leadership skills and interpersonal skills. But saying this answer won't just help. You have to substantiate it. You have to give a real life example as to what you have done in the past. So try to give this answer very honestly as to what you have done, so that you'll be able to answer the counter questions. Because if you have done them in real life, then answering those questions would be easy. I'm pretty sure that all of you would have had certain events that would have shaped your life in some form. So try to just take away something from those events. Try to see how you reacted to those events. Try to justify how your structure, how your thought process changed after that, and then craft your strengths. That is how you should go about this. Because it will be easier answering these questions if you have actually done them. Don't just make up an answer. That would be my suggestion.
Yes, let's move on to the next question.
Yes.
Are you creative or innovative by nature? This is it's a general question, but but the interviews are very specific when you bluff about it. Do give a substantial example that proves that you are creative when you're going to say that you're a creative, or when you say you're an innovative person. What incident in your life will justify that you are innovative?
Yes.
This justification is very important. This is the main nuance about this question. If you try to give an appropriate example suggesting that you are innovative or you are creative, you can easily get away with this question.
Yes, if you have taken some new steps, something that was not done by someone previously, and if you have taken some new initiatives, something that was not done previously and you have taken it, you can specify it, and then you can actually go on to specify how this decision of yours eventually gained you better results. Or even if the results are not better, what were the final results? Even if you have done something different, that qualifies as creative. Positive and negative results don't matter then. So you can actually go on to justify this particular initiative that you have taken, and then the eventual results of it. That will be a structured answer. But another thing, you are innovative by nature, then so you can also be blunt in saying that till now I step, but yes, I think the skill of you could really avoid take some steps. You can justify that, but still, it will always be better to come up with an answer saying that yes, I am a creative person, and then substantiating it using an example.
We will skip the rest of these questions. We will try answering these questions on offline. Maybe our committee can
Academic
help you in for circulating a document where we will basically answer these questions. We will try to concentrate a little based on the work ex, because we will take a substantial amount of time in telling you about your work ex, because it is very important in an MBA interview, and for a person with work ex, this always takes an upper hand.
Yes.
Let's first start with the question. Let's not waste time. What's your role during the job? Okay. Please, people with work experience, don't bluff about it, because they clearly know that you are going to come from an engineering background. Don't say that you are leading a group of 10 people or 20 people. Yes, you might be, there are positions which does it, but do it. Don't go about saying that your role was to control the organization. Just explain your role and how it affected your organization. That is very important. Though the work that you did was minuscule, how much did it affect the whole system in an organization? This is very important. If you have this holistic view, you can come up with an idea that not only about about only your role, about your entire hierarchy and entire system in the organization. This will be an added value to you. This actually gives you an upper hand that you are eligible to do an MBA. This holistic view that is already present in you will surely make you an MBA graduate. So that substantial amount of reasoning will help you answer this question.
Basically, like Venki said, I'll just be repeating it. What you expected from this question is you have to just list out the roles, your final deliverables that you're expected to perform, the end roles that you're expected to do. So these are the basic things that you have to answer. First of all, try to list out all the roles, try to answer them in a very systematic way. Like, first I was expected to do this, secondly another important task that I was supposed to do was this. So you could actually highlight some important roles, some important tasks that you did during this work ex, and then possibly how important your role was, like Venki said. Mentioning that is probably the most important task. What difference you actually made through that role, that is what you need to state in this answer, and how your role actually finally benefited the organization. That is what is expected.
Yeah, another one more thing is this is the first question that will be asked about your work experience,
Yes.
and this is going to determine the rest of the question. And please do note that people who are sitting in the panel are also technically well versed.
Yes.
You can say anything that you did in your organization with technical terms, but do expect question back on the technical terms, because
Yes.
they are technically well versed and you will surely get a job. For example, if an IT engineer is going to talk about a Java project or a middleware integration project that he did in his work experience, do expect a question about what is middleware integration or what is Java, so what is object oriented programming, something like that from an IT engineer perspective. Just don't take it lightly, because people are there are very well versed about the technical knowledge. So why are you leaving your job? One main thing, one complete no about this question is, don't say you dislike your job, that's why you're leaving.
Yes.
Okay, don't be blunt. This might be the reason why you're leaving your job. I accept it, but you need not be put necessarily in that way in an interview. What I would recommend you to do is, in this question, you can just go about saying that how much you gain the knowledge in your job, and how much your present role restricted you learning a lot of other things. So how much your present role itself influenced you to do an MBA. So this kind of answer will give you a perfect explanation, like why did you leave your job? Because leaving your job is obviously terminating a relationship, and it is not viewed as a positive thing. But a substantial reason for it. Why did I tend to say that what my answer to this question would be, like I said, I had gained enough knowledge in the current role that I'm doing, and I want to explore the future possibilities that where I can apply the knowledge that I've learned with this job. And for the betterment of the society, I have to take a step more to learn new things, what I can with the knowledge that I already have in the present job. So this kind of answer will get you to a point where that you are actually leaving a job for a particular reason, rather than you disliking the job or leaving it for continuing the MBA.
Okay. So to this answer, my suggestion would be, do not give any negative feedback about a company. Do not say that the work culture was not good. Possibly the opportunities were limited. All these answers, what they generally tend to give an impression is that this person was not very fast-sighted when he joined the job. He should have done all this before joining it. He should have known all this. So basically, giving a negative feedback about that particular company will go a very negative feedback to everyone else. So try highlighting all the learnings well you had during the job. Try telling them that how these learnings are eventually possibly directed you towards this particular MBA degree, and that's it. Like, you have to structure it. You have to tell them that possibly you realize that you had learned, like Venki said, or whatever nuances you had to learn during that particular work ex, and you were figuring out better. Just don't highlight the negative aspects of the company. Try to highlight the learnings, and then relate those learnings to your MBA degree. That is how you should go about it.
Okay, let's skip the third question. Who was the main client of a firm? So this question this is a typical answer. Say that due to your non-disclosure agreement, that you won't reveal any information regarding the clientele. Important question is basically asked to you to trust your adherence to the non-disclosure agreement that you have signed with your organization. Do never reveal the name of your client of any of the thing for or anything, because it is highly confidential from the firm side, as well as the interviewers also expect that you answer the same thing that you won't disclose the name of the client. Let's tell the candidate is how he sees the manager. So when you come to an MBA, you will learn a lot about managers and other stuff like whether you are a people manager or you are a work-oriented manager or anything. So basically, what I feel a good manager is a balance between both the work and the people. How his people managing skills is helping him in doing the work more productively and effectively. A manager can be a completely work-oriented person, or a manager can be completely people-oriented person. There are disadvantages to both. Manager always try to create a balance between it, and he will try to achieve the optimum level in which he has to adjust with these both things. So you can go about that. These question answers are available in the internet.
Yes.
Don't make a cliche answer. Do come up with something innovative that you can add to the answer.
Yes, something on the lines of good leadership skills will not help to this answer. There are certain matrices available in the internet. You can actually go through it. So, like Venki said, he gave a very comprehensive answer that you have to balance your work as well as the people around you, as well as your juniors, subordinates. So you have to take care of both of them and have a very balanced view of the work you are doing. That is how you are going to finally achieve aims. So basically, what a good manager is required to do is possibly implement the vision that has been passed on from the higher management, and then how is going to coordinate with the subordinates, and how is going to finally deliver it. That is what are the basic deliverables of a manager. So you have to be a balanced manager. You have to ensure that the people around you understand what is required. At the same time, you have to be target oriented. So a balanced manager does this.
Another thing I would recommend here is there is a small article called "Go Kiss the World" by Subrato Bagchi.
Yes.
It will give you a complete and a very good perspective about being a good manager.
Yes.
He would derive a lot of his experiences from life, and he would apply it to its corporate world. I will repeat the name of the article. It's "Go Kiss the World" by Subrato Bagchi. You can Google this. It is basically a speech at IIM Bangalore.
He's a Mindtree co-founder.
It's a Mindtree co-founder. So you can go through this article, and it will give you a good perspective of being manager, and even an MBA. You can apply that to your MBA as well. Let's go to the next question. Why did you switch jobs? This is basically for the people who had two work experience. What I would suggest is there's nothing wrong about switching the jobs. So be cool about this question. It is again the reason. The reason has to be very particular. What made you switch the is more
very similar to the question, why are you leaving your job? Why do you leave your first job? So basically the answers would be similar. If you are able to answer that question, why are you leaving your job, you should be able to answer why did you switch jobs
as well. So the last question, which is very, very, very important. How have you handled the criticism of your work? This is a psychometric question where a person will, this is very important for an MBA graduate. How do you handle criticism? This question will actually, though you answer rest of the questions okay or not, this question might get you upper hand on the personality scale. So what you should do is describe some situations where you are faced with criticism or disagreement in your organization, or conflicts that arise. So for this kind of criticism, how when or a manager or a reportee is giving you a criticism, how did you handle it? How will it is more of
that is here the correct answer. You have to take criticism very positively. That is about it. You have to use it itself to develop your multiple skills. So first of all, just highlight the situation and just tell the interviewer about the multiple steps that you actually completed after this criticism. How you went about rectifying them. That is what is expected. Now moving on to the next questions.
So I think all the questions are over. I would like to give you some of the last tips, like what you can do for what I would read some books, some good books, because when the interviewer is going to throw a question, what are you doing currently? You could suggest that you are reading a particular book and go on explaining about it. This will give you a good opinion about you to the interviewer. This is one suggestion that I'd make. And there is a particularly another question which I saw. Just give me a moment. Achievement build out. That's pretty much it. What I would suggest is Be very calm. Dress well for your personal interview. It is very important. Don't care about how other people are being dressed in the interview. Don't get intimidated by the other people who are present in the interview. Go with a strong attitude, a humble personality, and a neatly dressed way, and be very fresh. Be in the when you well before the thing, and they're not go for you. This will be more about testing your personality and getting to know about yourself better. And what I would suggest is our academic committee will be sharing all. Admission committee will share you all the PPTs in the website, Facebook page itself, and any queries regarding that also will be answered by us. We will do take out our time in answering your questions particularly.
Okay.
Yes,
my final suggestions for your interview preparation. Be well dressed, like Venki said. Because first impression is actually very important for the interviewers. You have to be dressed in proper formals, possibly business suits, like you will be knowing by now. But there will be people who will not be having suits and all. So try arranging it. If you are not able to arrange for a proper suit, try going in a proper, like a light colored shirt and a dark colored trousers. That is what, with a proper tie. That is the attire, the basic attire that you should have with well polished shoes. Because I know that interviewers actually look at your shoes when you enter the room. They just check how well prepared you are. So please pay importance to all of this and be very, very confident. Just show to the interviewer that you are very interested to do an MBA. Tell them how passionate you are about it, what all you are going to learn, how enthusiastic you are about pursuing this particular degree. At the end of the day, the interviewer has to be convinced that this guy is actually interested. He's a proper career goal. He has proper career goals. He has proper passion that he can actually follow and accordingly guide his career in that direction. So the interviewer has to know all this, and to communicate all this to him, you have to be very enthusiastic about it. You have to be very passionate about it. So be very passionate, be very confident when answering these questions. And yes, like Venki mentioned, whatever doubts you have, you can actually post in the IIM RAIPUR admissions page on Facebook. And the admissions committee of our college will share this PPT of all the basic questions that can be asked during the interview. If you have any doubts over a particular question, you can actually get back to us. We will take our time out to answer these questions. Apart from that, I think we have a proper mentorship program, Eklavya, going on. You can actually contact your mentors. They will be available and get their feedbacks. That is very important because they already know what all is during the interview. So that is about it. So tomorrow we'll be having a session on what structure. That is what the admissions committee has planned. And please be there for the Google Hangout session. I hope that you'll be able to get a lot of takeaways from that. Yes. So see you there again.
Yes, and we thank everybody for listening us for this 1 hour, and we are open to feedback. You can post anything that we have said, any clearances you want on that. You can just get back again on the call getters page. And thank you for sparing your time. And this is Venki and Smogan. Thank you.
Thank you so much.